The NBA 2K26 MyPlayer Builder live stream literally just ended, and I have a lot of information to go over, including the small details that some bulls might just skip over on accident. Well, I'm gonna cover all that inside this video. So don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload. Let's get into it. Since you're looking at this drawing already, I might as well just let y'all know what it is. This is the animation glossary. It's not the most important out of the whole live stream, but I'll still touch on it. Basically, when you're putting in your attributes, they're gonna tell you under it what animation that you unlock, right? They also now give you the option to type in the specific player's name, like Tyrese Halliburton as you're seeing on the screen, or Stephen Curry, and you can build directly from all the animations the player that you want. Personally, I think it's a cool improvement, but it's not something that I'm dropping my jaw over. Pause. Wow, that did not sound right. Anyway, on to the next jump. Next is just a small improvement still. It's called build by badges. And basically what you do is you select the badges that you want on your build, and you can build your player kind of backwards, right? So you'll select the badges that you want. They'll give you the attributes, the set attributes, and then you build from there. Now, just by this little screenshot alone, I know you guys peeped that we have legend badges back. I know some guys said that they didn't like that we had legend badges, man. I don't have an issue with it. I personally think that they're cool. And we see our first stats for Hall of Fame shifty shooter, and that is 96 mid-range and a 96 3-ball. I don't believe that changed from last year at all. So we're gonna see as we go on, see if they drop a little bit more leaks that we can peep out. Now, looking here, we see that we still have what seems to be the exact same badges from last year. We didn't see any new badges yet. I don't know if they're going to have any new badges added. I think that they want to stick to what they've been doing in the previous year. So we see Deadeye, Mini Marksman, Post Fade Phenom, Set Shot Specialist, and we see Shifty Shooter. So we're going to see, all right, we're going to see if they can add any more badges throughout here. Next is body types. We already know the details behind this. We know, okay, great. Now in the builder, we're able to see what body type that we can unlock before making the build. So that's cool, but pay attention to the bottom of the screen. I think we have all of the same badges from last year. And pay attention, bro, because if you look a little closely, you'll see that this particular build, it's a 6'3", and sure, it has high dribbling and such, but what you got to pay attention to is the defensive badges. It's seeming like it's the same thing as this year, right? NBA 2K25, where the smaller builds get a lot more badge points. That's what it's seeming like it's going, right? And if that's the case, I want to know how they're going to balance it out with their taller builds and the medium-sized builds, you know, the 6'5" all the way up to the 7'4". Yes, we can have 7'4" builds now. So I'm curious of how they're going to do that, or are they going to continue to limit the taller builds, even though they said that they weren't going to do that. That's not something to get too crazy about, because that might just be a little mock build that they made just for the little preview. So it might not even be anything that's too crazy. We're going to see later. And as you see right here, bro, we have build templates. We have it this year. I think we had it last year too. It's coming back. All right, there's nothing special. Now, in this height balancing section, they didn't really say much. All they said was, hey, yo, y'all, you are going to be able to make 7'4" builds. Yes, you can go up 7'4", and it'll still be balanced from very tall to very short. Regardless of your preference, we're going to make a balanced gameplay. That's what they said. The more important thing to take from this is that since they increased the height from 7'3" to 7'4", the threshold from each position increases also. And that would just make more sense because they told us already that you're going to be able to make 6'7" PGs. And if that's the case, then we can automatically assume now with the rest of this evidence that we have and the fact that we're going to be able to make 7'4" centers, we can assume that every single other position is going to increase by 1 as far as the height is concerned. This means that we were only able to go up to 6'8" as a shooting guard. This means that we can assume that we'll be able to now increase that to 6'9". And by saying that, that will also mean that the small forward position, instead of stopping at 6'10", will go up to 6'11". And you guys see where I'm going. This means the power forward, instead of stopping at 7 foot, will go to 7'1", and the center obviously goes to 7'4". Now, scouting report is the final page for the builder. You know, when you finally complete the build, you want to see what the name is. This is the page for that. Now, when here, they give you a bit more information, as you can see on this screen, right? You'll see the strengths of your build, the weaknesses of your build, your go-to badges, and also they give you your top 3 attributes, right? And what they do is they grade those attributes from A to the worst, which I'd assume would be F. Okay? Now, if you pay attention to the bottom right of the screen, it's going to say strengths and weaknesses. And that's what they added that's pretty new. Listen, like I said, I don't think it's that big of a change, but it is one of those things that I think is good for the more casual players, the guys who don't know much about the builder and they usually just slap shit together. This will help them, right? And if you're one of those guys, this will help you. And just let me know what you feel about this inside the comments, because personally, I think it's just one of those things that you just nod your head at. Like, it's a good addition, but it's not something to go crazy about. So we're gonna move on to the next. But before we do that, take a look to the left of the screen. You're gonna see your archetype. Right under that, you're gonna see two-way 3-point slasher. What in the hell? That John sounds fire. I'm not gonna lie to you, it sounds tough. Now, seeing this build name and paying attention to the strengths, we might be able to peep that, hey yo, bro, they might have some really crazy builds out there, man. All right, this is why I say this. Let's zoom into the strengths real quick. It's a bit blurry, but look at the strengths. It says relentless downhill dunker. It says super accurate 3-point shooter. That's something to look at. Wins point of battle attacks, and then handles have flair and control. And since we're down here, let's look at the weaknesses. Rarely disrupts the ball with any purpose. Lack of passing vision on the court. Now remember the strengths, because we're going to be talking about that a little later inside the video. This is the part of the video that might get you a little excited, because I got a little hype too. I had to calm down because I had to remember what company we're dealing with. Pay attention that we have max +1s back, but look to the right of that, yo. You see max +2s? Yes, it works exactly how you thought it did. Basically, for those of you guys who don't know about max +1s, say you have a bronze badge, you apply the max +1, that bronze turns to silver, okay? Simple. Now, say you have that same bronze badge and you slap it on a max +2. Guess what you get there? Yeah, it jumps up to gold. That is huge, bro. This means if you have a gold badge, you now have the ability to increase its level by 2, which means that bronze badge goes up to gold, or that silver badge goes up to Hall of Fame. Do you know how important this is? This means if you want to run all gold badges, bro, that you might just be able to get away with it. And listen, I know you think I'm reaching, but I'll be able to cover this a little later inside the video. Now, next, what you're looking at is Takeover Surge. And what you can do here is actually pretty cool. When you hit level 5 on your Takeover bar, only in level 5, 2 of your badges will increase a tier. So all you got to do is apply the badges and they will raise up a tier. This means you have a Hall of Fame badge inside the slot, it will increase to Legend. This means if you have a bronze badge inside the slot, it will increase to silver. All right, I think it's pretty cool, and it's only in level 5 Takeover. Next is Hot Start, and that's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, you come right out the gates with 1 or 2 of your badges boosted a tier, and it only happens for a short period of time. This means your bronze badge will jump up to a silver, or your Hall of Fame will go up to a Legend. All right, only for a short period of time. Clutch Gene is, dang, bro, it's the same thing as the rest of the badges, bro, except in this part, you're going to be able to have 2 badges boosted 1 tier in the late game situation. So if you're in rec, it's only in OT and only in the late 4th quarter. Now, if you're in park, that's a different story. We have to figure out how late in the game it would trigger, because he wasn't specific, but we know that it's near the end of the game. So we can assume maybe that 18 area it'll probably kick in, maybe. So we don't know. We're gonna figure that out when we get inside the game. Now, the Takeover system is the exact, okay, let me not say the exact same, but it's pretty similar to last year, right? As far as you have 5 levels of Takeover, you have to unlock and get to the top tier. That top tier being the 5th level of Takeover, which once you get there, you'll unlock the Takeover ability. Now, it was said that once we continue to fill up our Takeover meters throughout games, that will unlock over 40 Takeover rewards. And one of those rewards are, if you look on the right side of your screen right now, it says available tokens. So we're going to be getting Takeover tokens. Now, this means that process, that grueling process of continuously playing games, maxing the take, and having to do it all over again 15 more freaking times, that's done. But with this token system, I'm not sure, like, do we get a token every single time we max out the take? Like, say I only can get level 1 take. Whenever I fill up that level 1 take bar, do I get a token? Or, you know, I'm trying to figure that out. It wasn't really specified unless I just missed it. Anyway, those Takeover tokens are how we unlock new Takeovers. Now, supposedly there are 11 Takeover abilities, and 44 takeovers. The numbers of takeovers and takeover abilities was decreased from last year, and they said that they did this to focus more on the quality of each individual takeover so you can feel like you're getting the most out of that takeover and that takeover ability. I don't know. Listen, like I said, bro, I'm one of those bulls where it's like, listen, I have to actually see it. They can say all that, but let me get the game in my hands. I'll be the judge of that, okay? What else is really important? Okay, so we have Takeover Accelerator back. You can get your takeover much faster. You know, we always go for it every single year. And then we have Takeover Presets, and your Takeover Preset is basically allowing you to be able to change the takeover that you're using in between games very fast. Now, remember earlier in the video when I talked about a build possibly being able to get away with only having gold badges? This is why I said it, because we're now able to make custom takeovers. This means a custom takeover with the attributes at the beginning with Takeover Accelerator and Takeover Surge. If you utilize that Takeover Surge slot correctly with all of the other perks, bro, you'll be able to make the best build. But mainly all you have to do is build around the max plus ones and max plus twos. Build around that. Why am I saying this? Well, I'll cover that later inside the video. But now you're seeing you can make up for the weak points in your build simply by utilizing this takeover system and also what I'm about to show you later inside the video. Now, while we're here, you can see that you can assign your takeover a name, assign it abilities, and also assign the attributes that you want to increase as you're, going up upon the tiers. That's not too bad. And like I said, you can really take full advantage of that. All right. If you want a full video about how to fully take advantage of the entire builder system and this takeover system, let me know. Please get this video to 100 likes if you want that. All right, let's move on. Build specialization. This right here is why I asked you guys to stay a little longer. This is probably the most important section of this video, aside from the cat breaker section, which is coming next. Now watch this. I think this is so cool, yo. You have 5 specialization save slots, so you can specialize in finishing, shooting, playmaking, defense, and rebounding. Now, all you have to do is make sure that your attributes match the requirement of the save slot that you're trying to commit to. Now, once you do this, right, and you're in, you're gonna see a bunch of quests that you have to complete. When you complete these quests, you will find yourself getting a bunch of rewards, and not just the BS jerseys and all that, no. Actual usable rewards that's in game, like cat breakers, max plus 1 and max plus 2. Now, I didn't think it was anything crazy about that, just because I'm like, all right, so they're gonna go away. Now in the live stream, it was said that the max plus 1 and max plus 2 that you get from doing these challenges are permanent, so they're gonna stay on your build. Now, it's also important for you to pay attention that if you commit to, let's say, shooting, you're only going to be getting shooting cat breakers. You're only going to be getting a shooting max plus 1 or a shooting max plus 2. Now, remember what I said earlier inside the video about having all gold badges on the build? This might be able to make it work. Like I said, utilize the takeover and the badge perks that they give you. Make sure you take full advantage of the custom takeover. That means a lot. Once you unlock it, you will be powerful. You will have the most fun possible. Nobody gonna be cooking if you make the build correctly. You also need to take full advantage, 100% advantage of this build specialization. They are handing you free badges. They're handing you free badges, bro. You get a free max plus 1, a free cat breaker, and a free max plus 2. Are you gonna pass that up? Next, we have the cat breakers. Now, the cat breakers have been changed around a little bit. Last year, we only had 1 attribute that was increased by a cat breaker, so 1 attribute per cat breaker. And now certain cat breakers can be increased more than 1. So if you pay attention to driving dunk, look at that. Peep how if I apply 1 cat breaker to my 25 driving dunk, it will no longer just take me up to 26. Instead, it'll take me up 14 up to 39. Now look down at the ball handling. You see how I have a 94 ball handling? And now if I apply 1 cat breaker, it'll only go up 1. So it'll only take that attribute up 1. So next up is Rebirth, and you basically have Rebirth tiers now. So what happens is if you're at 90 overall, the tier starts there, by the way. You'll only have your Rebirth badges maxed upgraded to silver, right? Now, if you increase and go all the way up to 95 plus, your tiers will increase. Gold, Hall of Fame, all the way to Legend. But in order to access those higher tiers, you have to reach 95 overall across multiple save slots. So, you know, 2K was going to do that. They got to get their money. I'm not really too mad about it. Don't forget to click here and learn about the scam that I peeped that NBA 2K was running in the background, bro. Yes, it's the actual scam, bro. Now, don't forget to click there and talk about it. God bless, and to the next one.